going to start, if you don't mind, so so we can get going. And so a huge warm welcome, Business in Life Network. Small, select changes on a weekly basis, but a lot of people watch our replays. That's all I'm going to say. We've got a huge audience. So what I wanted to talk about today was what is missing for you. Now, everybody I see here at the moment is an entrepreneur. We're in business on our own. And do we always turn up every day, whether we're working from home or somewhere else, fully energized, motivated, ready to go, present? Are you turning up at your own party? Can we, you can, if you can happily unmute, by the way, you can add, it's quite interactive.
I'm not showing up at the moment. I've had a bad week.
Okay, cool. Well, not cool, but
I'm owning up to the fact that
yeah. I've had quite a few weeks where I wasn't showing up. I was literally, but I wasn't in here.
Exactly that.
And it didn't feel right. Oh, Jeff, how clever! We've just got a little hand sign, the thumbs up.
And I'm showing up, but maybe not for work. I'm showing up doing projects which I've gave myself, and I am motoring through them, which I'm delighted about. But because my work is not happening online and I can't do it physically, I've kind of swapped them. So my work, I maybe do 20% and 80% is on other things, but they are related to learning, research.
Well, that's awesome, isn't it? So, I mean, that's good in essence, but I think I'm trying to talk about times when it's not just about COVID, because COVID's added an extra dimension to us all, and it has. I've suddenly become, a bit of an agoraphobic. I don't want to leave the house at all, but that's another issue. So, business owners, I just want to say to all of us, are not gods or gurus. We are fallible. We're frail. And sometimes we are amazingly frazzled with or without COVID. And we're also quite vulnerable. And I think that motivation and willpower takes you maybe so far. Then it stops because it runs out. Little tinker, but it does, it runs out. And then what are you left with? It's got to be your why. Because there's, we can all kid ourselves. We can all talk about whatever. And I can't talk about anybody here, but it's for me personally, I know that when my why is connected, it's my power source. So despite whatever else is going on, that's what powers in. But we lose it. We forget about it. We don't nurture it. Hence, when we come up with trials, tribulations, troubles, we get a bit, and then the motivation fails, the willpower goes, and we've lost it again. So, first question. It's going to be lots of questions tonight. You don't have to answer them all, but pen and paper, you will be needed. There aren't slides tonight purely because I didn't have time. Is your personal why different from your professional why? Think.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I've done so much research over the last few days, and I just thought, is it supposed to be different? Maybe that's where I'm struggling, because we say you might call yourself a coach or whatever, but that's where that word ends. You too need inspiration, and everything. And my God, I've trawled. My eyes have been square. It's the same. So personal, professional. The why is actually the one why. That there isn't another. It comes it changes, maybe manifests and tweaks and twirls and all the rest of it, but it's the one why. So where do your core values, your authenticity, and your own genuine, inner core start to tick? Do they tick from the minute you wake up in the morning?
Sometimes.
Good answer. Sometimes. What about the rest of the time? What happens to them then?
You forget them slightly, or they get buried a little bit.
Cool. And Jeff, just to say, you're messaging me privately, so I just want to ask you, can I comment on what you're asking? Okay, no, cool, because it's private. I'm thinking, okay. Jeff's saying he's got 2 whys.
Correct.
Okay.
My first why is I've suffered from, I was diagnosed by Johns Hopkins 20 years ago with like the most severe form of eczema they've ever seen.
Okay.
And they threw me on massive doses of steroids, and I was on that for a decade. I'm not going to go into a whole big deal, but I've been working and doing holistic stuff to wean myself or to get off all the drugs. So that's one why.
Okay.
So I want to help others.
Sure.
My other why is because everybody in my family going back through generations was an entrepreneur. My parents, when they raised me, they threw me into the corporate world.
Okay.
They're both deceased. So I decided, you know what? No, I can't do the corporate world. It's too stressful, too many politics. So my second why is to go out to venture out on my own, because I have something to prove to myself.
Okay. I've got a very carefully selected list of questions, which, by the way, you do not have to answer on this call, but please make a note of them. But I will do a little thing for it to send it out. And I still think, Jeff, you have one why. You may have 2 separate sections of causal factors that have come together, but I still think you have one why. So maybe, let's see, you separately, whatever, have a look, because for all of us, what sends us into, passion and, tears of joy, and what gives us the most sense of the highest vibration, how we manifest that can be different. We can find different avenues for it, but the why is what makes it real. And the why, I think, is constant. And I've done a lot of work on this, by the way. Z will know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's within our essence.
Yeah.
And also, I think that we've only got really one purpose.
I think it's a bit like when people say you have one true love, isn't it? It all sounds a bit final. You think, well, what's about when I meet somebody else? Can it not be them? I do
Well, unless
think.
you're in Utah and they have polygamy.
Well, exactly. I could be a Mormon. I wouldn't,
Yeah.
by the way. I've got a great phrase. Sorry, don't think bad of me, but I actually am a smoker. And I have this amazing phrase that I don't even share ashtrays. And when my second husband asked if he could have another wife. Anyway, no was the answer. Bless him, he was Egyptian, and hey, whatever. But cool. So
back up in case anything happens to you.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, no, because I couldn't have kiddie winks. So he wanted to have kiddie winks, and I get it. You know, hey, it's cool. It's a big deal. So we're all allowed to change our mind. Anyway, look. So first of all, I want to dig deep into your why. Okay, so questions. Let's if we want to chat, I will say this webinar is recorded. If we don't want it to be recorded by the end of the session, it doesn't have to be. All I need to do is produce a set of notes on pretty pink paper, and then I'm done. So that's cool. No, but I just wanted to share that in case it gets, I'm not saying it should do, but in case, for everybody's benefit. Terry, you please feel free to eat, love. Seriously, I'm just jealous. Okay. So we're talking about being super bloody honest. Okay, not vaguely honest or a little bit honest, but super honest with your core values, your authenticity, how you show up. Now, that means how you show up in work being the big issue. As in career, whatever. How you show up to friends and family. And the questions that I'm going to pose to you are for all of that. They're not separate. Some will have more meaning, maybe, in a career setting. Some may have more meaning on a personal level. But what the point of tonight is to say, okay, let's have a look. Let's pull this all apart, and then we're going to stitch it back together. Now, you're going to stitch your own because that's private. But I'm going to give you a bit of a knitting pattern, and hopefully we're going to make some good decisions along the way. First of all, these are some caveats to the questions, okay? Because I don't like to make it super simple. Well, it is simple, but I want you to really, really think about this because I think this is a huge, huge thing that blocks everybody. And analyze your career thread. So what you've done before, we're all over 30. Love that. Did you fall into careers? Did you choose them? Were they chosen for you? Was it a career path that you would have chosen if you'd have had unlimited choice and no pressure? Pressure can come from family, friends, partners, spouses, your own expectations. So, first thing, look at your career path, because this is the Business in Life Network. So, yeah. And by the end of this, I want you to be able to put together a why statement. Bear that in mind. If I talk too fast, just tell me to stop, will you? I'm trying to slow it down because I've had a few comments talk too fast. Your why statement should say as much about the value you bring to a career environment as it does to why your friends and family love you. So we're pulling that together. It's not separate. I've got a great little quote. I like my quotes. So Socrates, bless him, said, let him who would move the world first move himself. Just a little thought to chuck in there.
Yeah, but what happens if your friends support you and your family doesn't?
But it's about your why. It's not about your friends or your family. It's about you. I get that's quite a biggie, by the way. Jeff, we've not had one of these calls before. But you love it. Trust me. You'll get to the end of the thing. It's easy going through a washing machine. Anyway, cool. So I'm going to add another little step here. One step at a time. One task at a time. Okay. So, few more points to consider. When we think about the questions and what your own personal interpretation of them is, I want you to detach yourself from the outcome. So don't get attached to it. An outcome can, your perception again, can be good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. Just lose the outcome. Forget that bit. It's about the process. The outcome is subjective at best, by the way. Don't connect anything in regard to income or revenue. So whatever you think about has got nothing to do with a dollar, sterling or euro sign tag. And I mean that most sincerely, and I've been through that recently. Some of you know that. So, hey, really tricky, but detach from that. One more thing. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Any other competitor, any other therapist you think who's better than you. Are they really? Any other coach, Terry? Jeff, not quite sure your field, but whatever, where your competitors are or people who've been doing it longer and appear to be better. Forget it. Means nothing on this. Absolutely nothing. Okay. Another question. When did you last really, and I mean really, learn something new that was challenging? My God, it pushed you to a place you thought you could never, ever get to. It sent you, wow, your brain was just buzzing, addled. You know that when your head hurts because you've had to think that hard? When was the last time you did that? Because we all tend to work in our comfort areas. So what do we do when we get out of them? And that your head hurts, you know that time when your brain just goes, it's going to explode. I can't do this. But it's real. And then afterwards you look back and go, oh my God, I did that. Okay. And I've got a few points of reference for you. Simon Sinek, the Why Man. Awesome. I mean, the best ever. And then another guy called Vishen Lakan. I'll write this down for you later. Who writes about the code of being extraordinary. Do you think you are extraordinary? You don't have to answer, but if you want to, you can.
I'll answer. I don't think I'm extraordinary, but I think I bring my own take on things. So
Good.
I am completely different to the next coach because I am different from the next coach. Because you bring your own personality along with that.
So doesn't that make you extraordinary?
Well, I suppose it does, really. I guess it does.
Jeff, are you extraordinary?
Yeah, I think everybody is extraordinary. Everybody is different. Everybody offers something unique. There's always a different approach.
Good.
Everybody provides some type of value.
Awesome.
And all the value that somebody provides is going to be different.
Yeah, but are you extraordinary?
Yeah.
Good. Should hope so, by the way.
Yeah, I believe in myself.
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
I put me in for a reason. So yeah, I'm extraordinary.
Good. Oh, I love this. Okay.
See, I would say I know that there is a uniqueness in each of us, but I wouldn't consider myself extraordinary because I just think I mean, yes, unique, absolutely. I've had extraordinary situations that I could write about in my life, but I think I would qualify extraordinary as somebody who has extraordinary achievements.
Can I comment?
But that's a perception, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, I've known Dee for a few years. She's in the UK and I'm in France, but we used to be neighbours. Dee is extraordinary.
Thank you, Jane.
Well, you don't have to thank me, it's a fact. So again, how we perceive these words is, you know, we could also say, yeah, well, we're all unique. You know, nobody's ordinary. Nobody then actually went, I'm extraordinary and I'm bloody amazing at it. Just a thought. Okay, next thought. You love me, really. Are you happy before something or because of the outcome?
Before, but the outcome makes you extra happy. If it's
cheating.
I'm always happy, but if it's a good outcome, then you're bursting with happiness, aren't you?
But if you remember, one of the first things I mentioned was we need to detach from the outcome.
Yes.
It's the process. It's the journey. It's that validation that we give ourselves, because that's where we live. We don't live in an outcome.
And part of that, not thinking you're extraordinary, is about self-belief and self-worth as well, isn't it?
I told you I've done my work. Trust me. Take me a week. No, a long time on this.
Because if we had a good self-belief, we would be going, yay, we're amazing.
Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't ever think about the outcome.
No. Because we know we're going to get the outcome.
But it wouldn't matter either.
No.
So once we take away the attachment to the outcome,
stay neutral.
What's the likelihood? The outcome is going to be better. And not that he's not my favourite chicken on the block, but just because I don't like his outfits. But somebody said this, it's not about the goal. It's about being the person who can accomplish the goal. Tony Robbins. And then I'm going to add one more thing, and then I'm going to use some questions, and you can write them down really quickly. Is Be curious. Do you know kiddywinks? And they constantly say, don't they, why? 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 I haven't got kids, but you know, all the ones I know, they constantly go, why? Usually like, why is a fat or why, but whatever. And they always talk the truth, bless them, cute. But why? How often do we say why enough as a mature adult? What's the why? We're talking about your why now, but how often do you say why? And going back to Vishen Lackheim, he asks us to question our actual perception of reality and our models of behavior. Because we just tag along, don't we? I get the credibility to that, but what about the times when we could have said why more? Okay. You okay, everybody? A few questions for you. It's only about 10, so you could write quickly. They're not big questions, but they're questions that I think are valid. You need to say why to the question, and then you take them away, write them down. We know that writing's the best way to, you know, make it real and sink in. Okay, first question. What can you do today to make other people's lives better? By the way, we're not always talking about reinventing the wheel or major, you know, medical cures, or small is beautiful. Remember that, small steps, baby steps.
Moaning.
Sorry?
Stop moaning.
Yeah. What, so that was question number 1. Number 2, what activities do you do when the passage of time is irrelevant? So how many times have we been doing something and we've all gone, oh my God, where did the last 6 hours go? My God, it's 2 in the morning. You know, no wonder I'm feeling tired. What are those activities? Number 3, what did you like doing as a child? Are we ready for number 4? I'm just conscious if I don't want to go too fast. What are you willing to do, even or especially if you look a complete fool? Now, for me, that's quite a lot, but again, it's all relative.
It can change though for me.
But it does, and that's why this, by the way, is, I will say, I think, as a developing, mature adult, it's always a work in progress.
Yep.
There's no definitive, well, there is, but what we had 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you know, I've got handbags longer than I've had thought processes. So we need to bear that in mind. Okay. Number 5. What do people ask you for help with? Number 6. This isn't morbidly, by the way, but if you've got 1 year to live, right, peak health, you can do whatever you like, but the 366th day, that's it, you're gone. Not nastily. What are you going to do with those 365 days? Now, we know everybody, when they sort of leave the planet, they never said they want to work more. But what are you going to do with your last 365 days? A few more, don't worry, we're getting there. Number 7. What will you do and where will you go to doing the extra mile? And I do mean the extra, by the way. So you've done a long day. You're super, super tired. You've given it your all. We've all had clients. We've done whatever. We've networked. We've done whatever. But somebody phones you. At this point, you're just ready to drop down into Bobies. And it's like, okay, I'll do that. Okay. Not because of them that they asked, because you will do it. What will you do at that point? Next one. What would you teach others to do? There's only 2 more. Don't panic. What would you do for free and class as freedom?
Those are 2 different things.
In the same sentence, they're not.
What would you do for free?
And big word, 3 letters, and class as freedom.
I get that. I get
Cool.
that because I'm quite happy to coach my pro bono clients for free because I just love doing it.
Exactly.
And I would be prepared to go the extra mile to get them.
And it's your freedom. It's where you fly.
Yeah, exactly. It's where I'm like loving it. So I get that question. I'm not sure about the others, but I get that one.
Hey, that's what you got to write them down. 1 more. Actually, 2 more, sorry. Why do people thank you? What's their reasoning? What are they thanking you for? Last one. What makes you laugh and cry?
Good ones.
So, believe it or not, I think if you scribble down some answers to those, that's your why.
Very
because
good
it
question.
involves personal, professional, history, future, and what sings to your soul now. And Jeff, maybe if you do that and have a look, you'll see you've got one why.
Interesting.
All that on a Tuesday evening.
They are quite thought-inducing questions. Very good, Jane. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I think finding, for all of us, by the way, finding our why is hugely important. Because, okay, right now we've got COVID, and we're in that together, aren't we? You know, we're all COVID friendly. You know, and we've got this common denominator. But as you all know, or maybe not know, I've had moments in my life when there's not been COVID camaraderie. There's just been me. And we've all had moments like that. And that's when knowing your why is actually much, much more important. When you've got
your why is going to give you that drive as well, if you're really concrete on your why.
The more you know about your why, all the things we talked about at the beginning, I mean, there's a long list, I can send this out. They all suddenly make sense.
Yes.
They all mean more. You know, not being about friends and family. It's about yourself. Looking at where your career threads were, because we know why tends to come into the career thought first.
Mm-hmm.
And we negate our personal why because we think it's separate, but it's not.
What happens if your why takes you in a different path than what you thought you were on?
Enjoy the journey. Jeff, imagine you've only got 365 days to go.
That's quite a hard one, I think. Because I'm sitting here thinking, what actually would I do apart from spend time with my family, which would be my main priority?
Yeah, but
what else would I do?
Spending time with my pets.
Yeah.
Cool. That means you're very pet focused. Whether we like it or not, getting through all those questions, by the way, this isn't for now. This is an ongoing process. But this is about your why. This is why you want to wake up in the morning. Now, I get that maybe, like Jeff just said, what happens if that's not what I thought it was? Well, but it's your why.
But also with Jeff's one, your why, if you would spend all your time with your animals, maybe your why is to be independent so that you can afford to spend time with your animals. You know, if you're independent and working as a coach like us, then maybe that's your why, so that you can have time freedom to do what you want with your animals.
Well, there's a reason I asked this.
Just throwing that in there.
There's a reason I asked this. Yes, I'm a health coach. I'm an herbalist, a certified raw nutritionist, and all this great stuff. But, well, recently, I just had to put my 5-year-old dog down. And besides doing holistic stuff for people, I like doing holistic stuff for pets.
There's your why.
So
the question is,
what did she say? What did Tracy say? Seriously?
So it makes sense.
Tracy, you can't just come in at the last minute, love. I know we know you're sexy and beautiful, but we're going through something here. So, love you, Toodles, and your oven mitt. I think if you find a why that suddenly becomes more apparent because of this conversation or loads of other conversations and experiences that have happened before, go with it. You'll find a way. We'll find a way to make things work. And when we're in, I mean, Z's a therapist as such. I think we're all coaches, by the way, one way or another. We just call it different names. It's our duty to ourselves to live our why, because then we're better at what we do, and we authentically heal, serve, guide, mentor, kick ass, whatever, to others. Whether that be to people, clients, pets, on whatever you want to call them, the end person, entity is almost irrelevant. It's what you're doing and why you're doing it, because then we know that it takes what, 10, 15,000 hours to be considered an expert. Well, I'm over that. I don't know about anybody else. But you can only be an expert if you're congruent and you're following your why.
But can I just say something?
Sure.
There is such a huge leaning towards natural animal welfare. And I've got friends who are physiotherapists, bone therapists, even facial reflexology or facial reflex therapy. There is a protocol for animals, and it's a special course that people do, and it works. So I think, Jeff, you're on a winning streak here. I think it'll be fabulous.
Could I suggest, see, that you and Jeff sort of connect? Because I know you're in different countries and different spheres and all the rest of it, but I think maybe, Z, you have some extra information that would help Jeff. Not Jeff personally, but as in whatever. Because again, maybe you didn't know about the protocols and all that kind of thing.
I'd
maybe you do.
Yeah, I'd be curious as to know what that program was.
Sure. Well, and don't forget, Z's based in the UK. She's European international. So, her expertise is huge. She is extraordinary.
I'll send you. We'll connect through through Jane, and I'll send you the link to the training course for pets.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Good.
It's an online course that you can do. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So you see, Jeff, it's you're not even extraordinary in thinking it, are you?
I've just had my pet put down as well, and I would have got your services.
I haven't got a pet, but I still really want a dog.
Can't beat a dog.
Little.
You can't beat a dog.
I know. Well, I still be a cat person, but I definitely now want little woof woof.
Well, my border collie, which I just put down, had epilepsy.
Oh.
So our other one is 8 weeks away.
Hard. It's like losing a member of the family, isn't it? Mine was.
No,
she was
it's
15.
losing a member of the family. Dogs need unconditional love.
Yes, 100%.
Family's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, I was lucky. Mine was 15, so she'd had a good life, but it still hurts like hell.
My cat was 22, and I was still gutted, and she got fur everywhere. But which, when you're an interior designer, isn't ideal. Just when you've got a shop and she's walking around the shop with like white fluff everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was forever with a little roller. But no, hey, it's
as for coaching though, people will pay for their animals.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Yes. They'll pay anything for their animals.
Their animals better than themselves.
100%. So you're onto a good thing there.
Wow. Awesome.
I better switch my thing, actually.
Hey, change your niche. Get on board to something where you really sing. It's your story. If you're singing your story, Jeff, and your pet story, you're going to have more people going, we hear him. You know, we know online is a big, nasty red ocean. And I have to say, Facebook is driving me up the wall at the moment, but full of, you know, people talking SH1T. And they're just fluff and rubbish. There's no depth. So if you're coming up going depth and, you know, everything else.
And you're passionate.
Yeah.
Makes a difference. Passion makes a difference.
And it's your why. So in other words, when people hear you, they know it's real.
Yeah.
And I think finding, you know, a real voice in all of this is super, super needed for all of us, by the way, one way or another.
Yeah.
We've all got our own voice, by the way, and we're all, you know, authentic, genuine, honest people on this, you know, this little call. And for anybody who's watching, if you're not honest, find another platform, because, you know, you will be eventually. You know, people need to hear the truth. So cool. Well, there you go. How was that, everybody?
That was
Different
very good.
format.
Very good. I'm going to study these questions now because they are thought-provoking.
Well, I can sort of, I've got my notes, which I have typed out already. Normally, Jeff, we do slides, so we'll get a bit posher. But I didn't have time today. I was just like, you know, I thought, don't need to. The content's the real stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to look pretty. Because I do. Because I'm extraordinary. And there we go. What I'll do now is I'll do our technical goodbye. And then if we want to carry on talking, we can. So I'm just going to say thank you very much, everybody. And have a lovely week. And we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Thank you. Thanks.